So I used to have this little MP4 player that I used to like carry with me everywhere, and it was like banged up. Like the front of it, the face was like all mangled, but it still worked. But that was really like my golden ticket to everything. Like me having music is what got me through everything. You know, growing up as a teenager, I never thought in a million years that I'd be homeless. But it really was exactly what I needed to push me to get to the point where I am today. Independence is not something that should be ever taken lightly when achieved, because it's not very easy. Going into the Covenant House was, I guess you could say, it was kind of scary, but it wasn't exactly, because I felt like I had no choice. Like, thank God I had a couple of friends who were there for me to, you know, extend their living situations, but at the end of the day, there's nothing like having your own. So going into the Covenant House was like back against the ropes. And, you know, my godmother told me she was scared, she didn't want me to do it, but I did what I had to do. And what's interesting enough for me is that my story, me like battling with the idea of what does my story mean, what's my purpose, why am I here? It's not just a question for me. That's really like the core to everyday living. Why am I here? Every single day I want to know, why am I here? What am I doing? Am I on the right path to getting to where I need to be? And now I think it's starting to make sense. During my stay at the Covenant House, I don't know if she would be okay with me saying her name, so I won't. But this woman came and she kind of explained to us that, she told us her story first, and she explained to us that she wanted to help us with anything we wanted to do. And I thought that was amazing. I've come across a lot of people who've been like, you gotta do it yourself. Like, you really gotta figure it out on your own. And having somebody just reach your hand out to say, okay, this is how you do it. Especially coming from a place of, like, not only was I homeless, but I was raised in foster care. So you don't really have a sense of understanding of who you are when you don't know your mom or your father. So altogether, I guess it just came to a point where it was like, as I wanted it more, people were there to show me. And she was like one of the actual first. So she left us her email address, and some of the girls, they wasn't with it. Like, some of the girls were just like, oh, she's not gonna help us, this and that and third. And I just remember feeling like, well, I'm not gonna not try, you know what I mean? So long story short, I stayed at the Covenant House for about 3 months, and after that, I moved from there to a group home. I stayed there for about a year, and originally, when I reached out to the lady who helped me, she didn't get back to me right away. And it kind of was a bummer, because it was like, maybe all the girls were right. When I moved, I kind of just forgot about it. I just left it alone. Maybe like 2 or 3 months in, I got this email from the lady saying that my email got to her spam, and she checked it randomly. So she was just like, you know, and at the time, I really wanted to be in music. Like, I wanted to like do background singing or something like that. And she said she couldn't help me with that exactly, but how would I like to get an internship at Capitol Records? So I'm just like, whoa, like, this is incredible. Like, this is beyond anything I could have ever imagined. And like, that was the journey, that was the beginning. I got to work with so many dope artists. Like, you know, I took Omarion to my old high school, like, you know, little projects like that to like kind of mold my ambition and like my goals to say, yo, I really like this. This is what I want to do. I think I want to stay here. So Capitol Records lasted for about a year and a half before I drifted off and started getting into nonprofits. I just had so many different experiences somehow I got into blogging, and blogging never was something I ever wanted to do. Like, I never had any ambition to be a blogger, but at the same time, I was a great writer. I always used to write since I was a little girl, so it just kind of inevitably shifted into what I do today. So now, after all these different experiences, I have my own platform called respectthepound.com, and it's really a platform that shows respect for up-and-coming artists as well as relatively known artists, just from a respectful standpoint. I feel like media, news, different things like that, they don't often show the reasons why we celebrate people. And I felt like having a blog that really talks about the core of our mission of just showing respect for people that just are in existence, I think is important. And the idea is to create a nonprofit organization that supports young adults who've been affected by homelessness and foster care, much like myself, who are into the arts, creativity, different things like that. And I think the main reason why I want to do something like that is because I feel like sometimes the people who've been hurt the most have the most love to give. And if they can turn their passions and turn their pains into something good, something passionate, something creative, then perhaps we can help heal the world a little bit.